Insurance premium. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA. Bima bora kwa taifa.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Edition. Tonight, the Sovereign Wealth Fund Act is in play, and that means then the country is preparing to ensure that even the future generations are bequeathed of the natural resources and its revenues that are within the borders of a sovereign republic that is Kenya. Welcome to Prime Edition. Also tonight in our conversation, we'll be talking to the Honorable Evans Misati, who is the chairperson of the Political Parties Liaison Committee. Let's talk about goons, one of the biggest threats now to the stability of politics and the country at large. And also part of what we shall converse here about is this booklet here. The Elections Operation Plan, launched about a week ago by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. How are political parties preparing for the elections that are upcoming next year? First things first, the highlights.
Lakini wakipiga kura wapatie IBC na vikosi vya usalama nafasi ili waweze kufanya kazi zao. Mambo wengine kusema tunalinda votes, hakuna kulinda votes. Votes zinalindwa na wale ambao wamekuwa deployed.
Race for all Kalau. Campaigns intensify as County Security Committee warns against quote-unquote protecting votes during vote counting. Separation of powers. National Assembly and Senate speakers sued for allegedly engaging in active politics. And Sovereign Wealth Fund. It's all systems go as President William Ruto assents to the new bill setting the stage for investment and management of natural resources revenues. The Prime Edition broadcast begins now. Lucy Maura is a sign language interpreter. To begin the news tonight, the Sovereign Wealth Fund Bill of 2026 is now law after President William Ruto assented to it on Wednesday. The landmark legislation establishes Kenya's first permanent legal framework that ensures natural resources revenue is prudently preserved, professionally invested, and shared equitably across generations. The Act will operate under three key funds, among them the Future Generations Fund.
President William Ruto on Wednesday assented to the Sovereign Wealth Fund Bill of 2026 that seeks to preserve and invest natural resource revenue for shared prosperity between both present and future generations. In a symbolic event, the bill was assented to in the presence of young learners representing the future generations. President William Ruto termed the law consequential as it provides a clear framework for managing limited natural resources while at the same time equally sharing their proceeds with future generations.
For many years, Kenya extracted titanium from the mineral sands of Kwale. It was one of the largest mining investments in our country's history. The minerals were extracted. Those deposits can never be mined again. What answer shall we give one day to our children when they ask us what happened to titanium? Never again will we mine or use resources without a trace for the future generations.
We have been exploiting the minerals that we have, the petroleum products that may be there, without any regard to the future generation.
The law will operate under 3 funds, namely the Stabilization Fund that aims to cushion the economy and budget against external shocks.
Through the Stabilization Fund, Kenya will build a financial buffer against extraordinary shocks, ensuring that a global storm does not become Kenya's crisis.
The Strategic Infrastructure Investment Fund aims to finance transformational national infrastructure and other strategic development priorities.
Apart from benefiting from resources that will come from our natural resources in oil and minerals, we will also be investing profits that come from investment in our very critical infrastructure like Jomo Kenyatta in the Sovereign Wealth Fund.
The Future Generations Fund, on the other hand, aims to preserve a portion of current natural resource wealth for the benefit of future generations and will receive 30% of the proceeds.
The idea of establishing a sovereign fund is a very, very progressive idea. I first learned about it when I went to Botswana, where all the wealth they generate from their mineral resources are put into a sovereign fund. And that sovereign fund is for the future generations.
We are witnessing the coming into force of one of the most consequential legislations in the history of our country that honors the requirements of our Constitution to use the natural resources we have for the benefit of both the present and future generations.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Let's switch gears and focus on the by-election that is slated for next week, Thursday, in Olkalau. And the Nyandarua County Security Committee has warned members of the public against attempts to remain at polling stations under the guise of, quote-unquote, protecting votes, insisting that the responsibility of safeguarding the electoral process lies solely with the security agencies and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that is IEBC. Speaking after a joint security preparedness meeting with the IEBC, the County Commissioner, Abdurrasak Jaldesa, said adequate security arrangements have been put in place to guarantee a peaceful, free and credible Olkalau parliamentary by-election. This even, of course, as the UDA party insists that the candidate will win in the mini polls.
Nyandarua County Commissioner Abdurrasak Jaldesa urged Olkalau voters to turn out in large numbers next week, Thursday, to exercise their democratic right and leave the polling stations immediately after casting their ballots.
Lakini wakipiga kura wapatie IBC na vikosi vya usalama nafasi ili waweze kufanya kazi zao. Mambo wengine kusema tunalinda votes, hakuna kulinda votes. Votes zinalindwa na wale ambao wamekuwa deployed.
The county commissioner also clarified that no curfew has been imposed in Nyandarua, saying security agencies are only enforcing the campaign timelines provided for under the electoral laws. Further, he warned politicians and their supporters against engaging in violence, destruction of campaign materials and use of hired goons.
Usianze kufanya mkutano zako, kampeni zako, rally zako usiku, uweze kufunga mapema so that tusikuwe na changamoto ya watu kuwa na hofu yote usiku.
Meanwhile, the IEBC has said preparations for the July 16th by-election are in final stages.
Currently, we are finalizing on the training of poll officials. We are currently handling the presiding officers and the deputy presiding officers. And in 2 days' time, we'll deal with the clerks.
As the security agencies and the IEBC express their preparedness, UDA Brigade engaged their mobilizers and coordinators on strategies to rally voters to turn up for the polls.
Siku hii ya leo tumeungana ili tuweze kupangana na watu wetu vile ambavyo wale watu ambao tuna support serikali, tupangane vile ambavyo hawa watu watatokea mashinani kumobilize watu waweze kutokea ili waende wakachaguane.
Sasa tuko kile kipindi cha lala salama kuhakikisha ya kwamba tume fine tune especially ile siku ya kuchaguana venye watu watatokezea wapige kula.
Na muhimu zaidi ni kwamba hawa watu wa Orkarao wamekuja kuelewa na amekuwa akielewa shida zao ni shida zao, sio shida za nchi ya Kenya.
With barely a week to the Orkarao by-elections, UDA politicians, coordinators and mobilizers are all set for the big day to ensure that Samuel Mushina is the next member of the National Assembly. Gishuki Washira from Orkarao, Nyandarua County.
And that report by Gishuki Washira takes us to a very fast breather. Right on Prime Edition, don't go too far. We're coming back with more news and indeed a conversation regarding political parties.
Star 977 hash or download my Power app to access Kenya Power services fast and easy. Kenya Power, nuru ya Kenya.
This is quite a game. It'll be a free kick. Oh, what a goal! Ecstasy! Euphoria and emotion overflows. What a goal that is!
Michuano ya kombe la dunia yanakaribia kilele na sasa ni kufa kupona. Farasi wawili wanaopatana ugani, ni mmoja tu ndiye atakayesalia huku mwingine akifunganya virago na kuelekea nyumbani. Je, ni timu gani itakayotwaa ubingwa huu mnamo Julai 19 pale MetLife Stadium? Jibu hili utalipata hapa KBC Channel 1, tukikupeperushia matangazo ya FIFA World Cup moja kwa moja kutoka Mexico, Canada na USA.
Goal! They've done it!
Pia unaweza kupokea matangazo haya kupitia stesheni za redio za KBC. Istoshe, kwa wale wanaopenda kuona mechi kupitia big screens, KBC itawatembelea mtaani kwenu. World Cup iko KBC. KBC, your true sports partner.
Welcome back. You're watching the Prime Edition. The government has handed over the Public Service Payroll Audit Report to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, that is DCI, paving the way for investigations into suspected payroll fraud and irregularities amounting to 6.2 billion shillings. Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku says the probe is part of ongoing reforms to eliminate ghost workers and strengthen accountability in the management of public funds.
Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku on Wednesday officially handed over the Public Service Payroll Audit Report to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, marking the beginning of criminal investigations into suspected payroll fraud uncovered during a nationwide audit.
We are starting with 12 State Department, which the report is ready, that we can be able to pinpoint. There are some irregularities which happen here and there. It's for the DCI to know whether it's criminal or not. Because as a ministry, we don't have that capability. Probably there was one or two questions which was not properly asked or some document not submitted. But we see, we have some evidence within the system that some changes happened within the human resource information system.
To strengthen payroll management, the government has directed all ministries, state departments, agencies, state corporations and county governments to migrate to the human resource information system within 1 month.
If they fail to do that within a period of 1 month, the salaries will not be remitted to those government agencies who have not been onboarded on HRS. The HRS, as it is today, is robust enough, is capable of onboarding all government agencies, all county government of the Republic of Kenya.
According to Ruku, the integrated system will allow real-time monitoring of payroll transactions, making it easier to detect unauthorized alterations and eliminate ghost workers. The government has also established payroll audit units across all ministries and departments.
We have formed payroll audit teams in each and every state department. And this is the case also. We will do the same in all county government in the Republic of Kenya, so that we can have audits of the payroll on monthly basis, so that we can be able to get what's happening, not at the end of financial year, but each and every month.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, General Amin Mohammed, on his part, noted that the investigations will be conducted fairly and in accordance with the law.
This investigation, ladies and gentlemen, will be undertaken within the shortest time possible, and we are committed to recovering any public funds lost through these malpractices. Of course, this being a matter of serious national concern, we shall endeavor to be updating the public on the progress of our investigations as and when necessary.
Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
The two speakers of both the upper and lower houses have been sued for participating in active politics instead of being neutral as required by law. In the petition, human rights organizations Vocal Africa is challenging the conduct of Speaker Moses Wetangula and Speaker Emmerson Jeffakingi in participating in several political events between June and July this year. The petitioner wants the High Court to issue permanent orders barring them from participating in campaigns and acting independently. Details in the Scales of Justice segment.
In the petition, where the two speakers, Moses Wetangula and Emmerson Kingi, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and the Attorney General are respondents, Vocal Africa seeks to curb abuse of constitutional offices.
Are these people beyond the law? Are they actually advocating as far as the Chapter 6 of the Constitution is concerned? The answer is no, but that's for the court to actually determine.
They argue that the two speakers have breached the Constitution and various statutes by using the authority, prestige and influence of their offices to campaign for the president's re-election bid.
Our firm belief that anyone holding public office, particularly leaders of public institutions, must respect and adhere to the Constitution and the rule of law.
Elsewhere, Arumurutu Law Court has scheduled the ruling of whether there is a case to answer in a land fraud case on 18th August this year. While giving the direction, Resident Magistrate Margaret Monike noted the prosecution had filed their written submissions, directing defense to do so in a day. The land fraud case pits Christine Wangari versus Rufus Kihara, who is the accused in the prime parcel of land. And 2 Kenyan-Italian nationals have been charged before Malindi resident magistrate over a fire that allegedly destroyed a luxury villa valued at 667 million shillings in Malindi, Kilifi County.
It has been admitted by my learned colleague that the accused persons have a property next to the property that has been destroyed. Your Honor, a very rosy picture has been painted of the first accused. But what this court has not been told is that he is also facing another criminal matter in this court.
Appearing before Resident Magistrate Eve Odhiambo, the duo denied the offense and were released on a personal bond of 300,000 shillings, each pending the hearing and determination of the case.
The accused person shall be released on a personal bond of 300,000. They will deposit their passports in court, mentioned on 23rd July 2026 for trial before Court 4.
Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
Former Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo has unveiled his new political party or political vehicle, the People's Prosperity Party, that he will use to seek the presidency in the 2027 elections. Owalo says his party is opposed to the current tax policy, describing it as punitive. He also called on the government to respect the Constitution and the rule of law. He announced the PPP will front a candidate or candidates in all elective seats across the country. This comes up as political campaigns intensified in Ol Kalou ahead of the July 16th mini polls.
At the Ustawi House, Nairobi, former CS Eliud Owalo unveiled the political vehicle that he will use to vie for the presidency in next year's poll.
Once elected president, we will reopen all cases of previous corruption within the period of our 2010 constitutional dispensation, so that Kenyans can have a closure on the corruption cases.
In his pledges, if elected, Owalo said he will reduce the current pay-as-you-earn tax from 35% to 20%, reduce value-added tax from 16 to 10%, and abolish digital tax.
Why is it that people don't have money in their pocket? It's because of a punitive taxation regime. We are dealing with a tax regime that does not recognize the level of disposable income of the people.
And as he was launching his presidential bid in Nairobi, separately in Nyeri County, DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua was drumming up support for his party's parliamentary candidate in the upcoming Ol Kalou by-elections set for July 16th. Gachagua expressed confidence that the party's candidate Sami Kamau Ngodho will win the seat.
Lakini medho amenyorosha inaenda sawasawa, and we shall get victory in Ol Kalou.
This even as the National Council of Churches of Kenya is cautioning against the trend of vote buying and political patronage. In their survey, dubbed Study on the Influence of Money and Religion on Democratic Outcomes in Kenya, NCCK say 91% of the youth view financial power as the deciding factor during elections.
What we have discovered is that politicians are using money to buy airtime in churches. So a politician will send some money to the pastor, say 20,000, so that then when he shows up, he will be given the microphone to speak from the pulpit.
Elsewhere, Kiharu lawmaker Dindi Nyoro has sustained his criticism on the sale of Safaricom shares.
It is no coincidence whatsoever that after money changed hands at 34 shillings, immediately the price manipulation stops. Then we see the share price now climbing higher every single day after the transaction happened. Definitely this is not a coincidence.
Dindi says taxpayers were shortchanged by 150 billion shillings in the price of 34 Kenyan shillings per share.
Kila mtu angekuwa anataka kununua apewe nafasi. Tungepata watu pengine wangepea wa Kenya even over 350 billion Kenya shillings. Na hiyo ni fedha ingetusaidia sisi wote kama wa Kenya.
Giverson Minor, Prime Edition.
With Ajab all-purpose flour, making perfect chapatis has never been this easy. The dough is easy to knead, rolls effortlessly, saving you time without compromising on taste. Soft, golden, and full of flavor. Every chapati turns out just right. Enjoy. Ajab all-purpose flour.
Did you know that you can purchase a last expense insurance for you and your loved ones? Consider purchasing this insurance policy to avoid unnecessary stress and fundraising when you lose a loved one. The policy covers funeral-related expenses, thus easing the burden of losing a loved one. Now you know. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
This is quite a game. It'll be a free kick. Oh, what a goal! Ecstasy, euphoria, and emotion overflows.
Welcome back. Housing and Urban Development Principal Secretary Charles Hinga has urged Kenyans to ignore misinformation being spread by the political class and instead fulfill their home-owning dream by taking up the affordable housing units across the country. Speaking in Kisumu as he initiated phase 2 of a non-motorized transport project alongside Kisumu Governor Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, Hinga took a swipe at the opposition politicians for misleading Kenyans on the affordable housing program for political mileage. The PS reiterated that Kenyans earning less than 20,000 shillings do not need to pay any deposit for identified units, saying the program is tailor-made to cater for Kenyans, or rather to Kenyans of all financial cadres.
When you have a senator that is taking you to court to curtail, to stop more rights being advanced to people, then you ask yourself, what kind of leaders are we hiring? And by the way, they pretend that they are fighting for your rights. What rights are they fighting for? They are fighting for the rights of landlords who want to make sure that you remain a tenant for the rest of your life. And yet, this Article 43 gives you a right to own.
We in Kisumu are proud to know that we must be governed by a civil service which recognizes the equality of all human beings, residents of Kisumu, and gives them equal space and chance to live the best where they live.
Before we have our conversation on political parties, the government has intensified efforts to digitize learning in public schools through the rollout of smart boards and internet connectivity, with 10,000 schools targeted in the first phase of the program. More of this in the county's wrap.
Speaking during the commissioning of a smart board at Olkalau Comprehensive School, ICT and Digital Economy Principal Secretary John Tanui said the initiative will equip learners with digital skills, improve access to quality education, and support interactive teaching across the country. His basic education counterpart, John Ololtua, says the program is progressing well, with schools integrating digital technology into teaching while maintaining normal learning activities. More than 250 smart boards are being installed in Nyandarua County.
This board is a complete computer. It can perform anything that a computer can perform. It can additionally provide what we call conferencing solution. You can connect 2 schools, you can connect 10 schools, you can connect 100 schools, so you can have a conference teaching where you can teach many schools by one teacher.
Lastly, is to call upon the parents, the entire community, to be able to support education. Just the way they have always supported. Let the parents do what is expected of them. Let the leadership, I know the CDF and others are also doing their job in terms of construction of school infrastructure.
Meanwhile, in Mandera County, the Kenya National Library Service has handed over the renovated Mandera Community Library to the county government. The modern facility, equipped with digital learning resources and high-speed internet, is expected to boost literacy, research and access to knowledge across the region.
Nataka niwahimize muwe radi anytime, kuje msome, weekend, holidays, msipoteze wakati kwa nyumba. Come and read.
Finally, police have begun investigations into the cause of a fire that claimed the lives of 3 members of the same family in Murara Village, Ronyanja's constituency, Embu County. The victims, 2 sisters and their 23-year-old grandchild, were trapped inside their burning house after the blaze broke out in the early hours of Wednesday.
Usiku nilipigiwa simu saa 8 usiku, nikaambiwa kuna pali nyumba inachomeka. Niliweza kuamsha watu, tukakimbilia hiyo eneo. Kuruka kwa simu tukakuta nyumba imechomeka yote, na kulikuwa na watu 3 huko ndani ambao walichomekea huko ndani.
Nailongeso for Prime Edition.
Support from Hassan, finds him now, remains in support. Zico will be up shortly. Zico coming in now. Hassan pulling it back. Zico! Zico, Zico, Zico! His greatest moment, their finest hour.
Just a serve for Egypt.
Zico in the right place to pounce. It's his 4th goal in only his 7th international since the end of May.
I am Chef Ombachi. Today I'm cooking ugali na Ajab Premium Maize Meal. Boil water, done. Add Ajab Premium Maize Meal. Done. Grab your mwiko and stir the mixture. Done. Enjoy the amazing aroma. Enjoy incredibly soft ugali. Done. Ingia ligi ya kipekee na Ajab Premium Maize Meal.
Argentina have brought it back to lead. And now a chance to come in the counter-attack. They've hardly anybody up now. That's going to be called as a free kick. And it's going to be a yellow card. To general disbelief. The challenge from Marwan Atiyah.
Welcome back. You're watching Prime Edition. Time for us now to get into a conversation. The Honourable Evans Mithati, the chairperson of the Political Parties Liaison Committee, joins us in studio. Let's take stock of what is happening across the country in relation to political parties and politics, because, I mean, as the currency they transact. Thank you very much, Honourable Mithati, for joining us.
Thanks so much, and I want to thank KPC for giving me this opportunity during the prime time to speak about what we do on a daily basis.
Let's talk about Goonism first, because this is a matter we must get off the way first. And it's a culture that is now threatening democracy in the Republic and indeed the stability of a nation. What is PPLC doing to deal with Goonism, particularly when it is obviously apparent that it is some political parties shielding or protecting these goons?
Thanks so much for that question. First, out there, there's a confusion about goons. People don't even understand. Some of them are practicing goons, but they don't understand that they are doing that. Our dictionary defines a goon like an awkward, stupid person or an aggressive, violent, young criminal. That is actually the definition. As per the dictionary. But the definition by our daily operations, a goon is not a security person. A goon is somebody who is paid to execute some work for a politician, for a political party, or something of that kind. So to say it plainly, goonism is a political violence. It's political violence. It's not only that it's contracted out, but dressed up in the word we call it logistics. That's how our politicians dress it up. But basically, once it's contracted payment or protecting and doing other things, that's basically goonism. But we realize that each side of the political class is practicing it. Some may not know, but they're actually practicing it. Yes.
The question is, what is the PPLC doing? Or are we going to see sanctions in the coming months, particularly sanctioning some of these political parties? Do your powers extend to that extent?
We are talking about self-regulation first, because if political parties can, as PPLC as a platform of ensuring that we engage as political parties to ensure that we have free, fair electoral processes. A free, fair electoral process cannot happen when others are chasing others, because what happens is we have categories of goons. There are those who are brought to make sure that they echo the other opponents. There are those who are brought to ensure that they intimidate the other opponents. That is not free and fair electoral processes. So what we are saying is that IPC has got the main mandate under Article 84 and 88 the Constitution to ensure that they enforce the code of conduct so that those people who are inciting violence, they can be able to be either barred from participating or they pay a fine.
All right.
But essentially what's happening now, just to mention the summary, is that you remember the Sabina Chege case? It went all the way to Supreme Court. And in September 2023, the Supreme Court ruled that it's now law that IPC can be able to go ahead and enforce penalties or even make sure that anybody who is inciting violence is not cleared to run for office. IPC has got the mandate. It's now law. It's not Court of Appeal. It went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Okay. I want us to talk about internal democracy. It's good you've referenced a matter of Sabina Chege.
Yes.
And we are seeing a replica of the same, particularly when it comes to internal democracy happening in ODM.
Yes.
Where you have Linda Mwananchi and Linda Ground, all of them under one party.
Yes.
The question is, in terms of promoting internal democracy in parties, does PPLC have a role?
We may not have a role at the internal party levels because our main role as PPLC, statutory Section 38 of the Political Parties Act, is to ensure that we are players in this business of elections. So ours is to ensure that we engage IPC and the whole LPP to ensure that the rules of the game, the operations plan that we recently launched, IPC invited us to launch, that it has given each and every political party that is participating in elections free and fair chance to participate in the elections. We do not go into personal or other internal party matters.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk about women, young people, and people living with disabilities. Over time, they've been disenfranchised because we're heading to an election. Over time, there's been disenfranchisation. Does PPLC have a framework of ensuring that these people, the women, youth, and people living with disabilities, do not just become members of that party, and they can equally participate and compete with other people within parties?
Yes, well, I have had several complaints. The young people, the Gen Zs, have come forward to demand that the parties, they do not see them as passive participants, but active participants. They have complained. We have held engagements with the International Republican Institute, the youths in political parties, to ensure that they are given their space. Of course, we have told them that they should not expect anything on the silver plate. They should use their numbers to kind of bargain their way to the slots in the political parties. That has been happening. The young people have complained, but we have also engaged the political parties to ensure that they participate in them. One thing I've advised the young people as a chairman of the political parties is that don't fall into the handouts. If you are participating, because the moment, what happens is that if each and every time you come, I am giving you transport. When the time comes to get position or power, what business will I have? Because each and every time you are coming or you are participating, I was paying you. So I'm urging the young people to contribute to the welfare of the political parties without necessarily demanding compensation, so that their input is taken in on what they do than relying on the leaders to be paying them tokens now and again. Yes.
As the leader of PPLC, I'm sure probably you participated in the making of this document, the election operation plan.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about campaign capping. For a presidential candidate, I saw about 4.4 billion. But then what shocked me was a political party capping at 17.7 billion shillings. I don't know within the ranks of PPLC, and particularly the parties, because all parties subscribe to PPLC. And how many parties do you have that have such a financial mass?
Yes.
17.7 billion shillings.
First and foremost, let me say that in the near future, we're in the process now of public participation.
Okay.
Of course, we gave in, there was a technical team which was also, we seconded a member of the political parties liaison committee to sit in that technical team. And they have come up with those figures. One, I want to say something. When we talk about Gunism, I looked at the items of expenditure that are allowable expenses, and I looked at the IBC has factored in what we call security. I suppose we are not going to call the people who protect the politician security, because the moment we do that, we'll be allowing like an admissible expense of paying the goons.
Okay.
We risk that unless we define clearly what is security. So you realize we have an item of transport reimbursement of around 11 billion shillings as a gap.
That looks like bribery.
So that's where we are as a country, and those are the limits that IBC has come up with. And that is for the party. And you, of course, IPC had to look at the number of people in a constituency. The total is like, the assumption is this political party is going to work across the country.
Yes.
The transport reimbursement from all the, it's assuming that everybody has got that capacity. So the last thing I'll say, what you have asked me, is that the spending items which are agreeable, the venues, election security, and then transport as the biggest ones. So we are still participating in the public participation, and I'm sure we'll be engaging IPC as political parties. Political parties have been given up to 13th of this month to give in their memoranda. If they agree with this, then we can be able to put at the gazettement.
Okay.
Of course, we have the challenges, as you know, the capacity of IPC to regulate this, and also the structure of us as a country to ensure that when you are opening that bank account and it says your agent should be a signatory. If we have been having problems of candidates fighting with the agents and the money that is agent is paid to go and pay the other agents, that money does not reach. What about now if somebody is going to be a signatory of your account? I'm sure we need to look at that as a country so that we don't just make laws just for the sake of making it, but the good thing is that we have been invited to public participation and we'll give our input at that
All
level.
right. There's a question I want to ask you. You are a founder of a political party yourself. And the question of funding, because again, that has been the hue and cry amongst political parties, and particularly those ones that enter into coalitions before elections, whereby you find that the party that has majority members of parliament ends up taking the lion's share of the political party's funding. This current model as is, how does PPLC plan to work around it? Is it fair? And if it is not, how do you plan to work around it?
Thanks so much. I am a founder of Progressive Party of Kenya, which is a party that's going to fill candidates all the spaces in Kenya in the 2027 general election. And we receive the PPF, Political Parties Fund. And as a platform, our mandate being that free, fair electoral processes, we still feel that we need to look at that formula so that we can have, we are proposing amendments to the Political Parties Amendment Bill to ensure that at least the parties, the full registered political parties, have got at least basic minimum administrative costs of paying officers, paying the core staff, so that at least we can compete from a level ground. This is basically like now we are talking about UDA and ODM getting the 90% of the funds. It's not a free or fair process. So we are pushing for that. Of course, we are also making efforts to ensure that, like in my party now, we have donors who are supporting us to ensure that the candidates who are going to be in our party, they are supported to take office.
All right. That's quite interesting. I want us to wind up this conversation. And as we do, the question of preparations for the elections. PPLC has a big role to play. One, in terms of ensuring there's awareness around elections, but also around political parties, because for many, parties are election vehicles. And then after that, you don't engage with the party. That's why you're seeing, for example, you see 10, 15 parties in one region, and people keep interchanging that way. The civic education around political parties and elections as we head towards 2027, what is PPLC doing?
Thanks so much. First, we are participating in what we call the enforcement of the code of conduct, of course, together with IPC, and we are encouraging that IPC now engages the political parties more so that we can support them to enforcing the code of conduct. Secondly, the nomination regulation rules, which we agree to have a standardized nomination regulation rules. And finally, to ensure that there is political hygiene. Those people who do not subscribe to the political parties, they don't pay subscription. We have agreed as all the political parties, they will not be cleared from party A to P, so that we have the political hygiene that we are seeking in this country.
So people who jump from a political party nomination to an independent candidate,
they will not be cleared. They need to be cleared. We are doing that as PPLC to ensure that we enforce the political hygiene. Once we have agreed as a team or as political parties, is like we are chama. So you do not take my candidate who has not cleared with me, so that we at least work towards having some political hygiene. This thing of you are elected in this party, tomorrow you ignore to pay subscription, the next day you're in another party, is actually what is called killing our ideology in this country, so that people don't subscribe to the ideologies of the parties.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Evans Miseti is the chairperson of the Political Parties Liaison Committee. He's also the founder of the Progressive Party of Kenya, that is PPOK. Yes. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the very best in your engagement, of course, as you continue. Just hold it tight there. Yes. You're taking a breather. Don't go too far.
Thanks so much.
Quick balls into the area. Another one lofted in. It's a cross in front of goal. Chabert should be on run alert. It's in the net. Lionel Messi's rescued them again. It's another one for the record books. Another one for the collection. And he has single-handedly dragged Argentina back into this game.
It's millimeters between progression and going out.
Star 977 hash or download my Power app to access Kenya Power services fast and easy. Kenya Power, nuru ya Kenya.
Usiaivike. Anyway, ukitaka kutazama mchezo yote iko KBC.
Time for business news now, and county governments should establish dedicated funding mechanisms for micro, small and medium enterprises, that is MSMEs, to address capital access challenges small businesses face despite being the largest employers. The call was made during a policy forum in Kisumu, where access to affordable financing was identified as a major barrier to business growth and sustainability, as Wycliffe Okech now reports.
Informal sector accounts for 9 in 10 jobs in Kenya and supports millions of livelihoods. However, access to affordable financing is among the biggest challenges that micro, small and medium enterprises face.
Actually, as small enterprises, we have a lot of challenge in getting funds.
They challenged county governments to set up a special fund for informal businesses to supplement kitties such as the Women Enterprise Fund, Nyota Fund and the Hustler Fund offered by the national government.
Under the MSME policy, they really don't understand what funds are out there for them, and we want them to understand this through the creation of the awareness in the policy of the funds that are available, like the MSME fund.
Most important is for them to show up, because if you don't show up, then you'll never know this existence, and information is key. You need to show up, get the information, and then you can be able to utilize some of those government opportunities.
The funding appeal was made during a policy awareness forum in Kisumu as part of the IYBA seed project being implemented across the counties of Kisumu, Nakuru and Uasin Gishu.
So we'd love to have more partners to come and partner with us so that we are able to take this on out there. The policy and the ecosystem players, we take this information out there for the youth and women.
Reporting for Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
If you're a livestock farmer, there's information you need to pay attention here to, because the government has warned that antimicrobial resistance could lock Kenya out of lucrative global meat export markets if misuse of veterinary medicine is not addressed. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says global markets are increasingly demanding strict compliance with food safety and responsible veterinary drug use, hence the need to strengthen disease surveillance, animal traceability and veterinary regulation to secure Kenya's meat exports.
Kenya is positioning itself as a supplier of premium meat to African and Middle East markets. However, antimicrobial resistance remains a growing concern.
If left unchecked, this resistance threatens not only human health, but also Kenya's livestock exports. Many premium export markets now subject imported animal products to stringent testing for antimicrobial residues and responsible veterinary drug use.
Kagwe says strengthening compliance with international standards is key in ensuring Kenya remains a trusted exporter of safe, high-quality meat products.
Our objective is straightforward. It is to ensure that every animal, every veterinary intervention, every movement, every slaughter process, and ultimately every kilogram of Kenyan meat can be verified, traced, and trusted. The transformation begins within our veterinary profession. The Kenya Veterinary Board is currently undergoing significant reforms through digitization, strengthened compliance inspections, and enhanced professional regulations to guarantee that livestock products meet internationally accepted standards from farm to fork.
He says the government is scaling up the National Livestock Vaccination Program and expanding vaccine production at the Kenya Veterinary Vaccines Production Institute, KEVAVAPI, from about 45 million to over 70 million doses annually to strengthen disease control.
The government is strengthening both the Kenya Veterinary Board, the Kenya Veterinary Medicines Directorate, to ensure veterinary medicines remain under the supervision of licensed veterinary professionals. And as I said, use of technology should assist us to actually identify. We should be able to do so simply.
Implementation of livestock identification as well as traceability systems is being accelerated to ensure Kenyan meat products meet international market standards. Nduta Mokami for Prime Edition.
A 1 billion shillings digital vessel traffic management system has been commissioned at the port of Mombasa as part of efforts to modernize maritime operations and improve cargo flow. Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director Captain William Ruto says the technology will enhance navigation safety, reduce ship turnaround times and boost efficiency at the port.
Digital Vessel Traffic Management System is part of Kenya Ports Authority broader marine modernization program, which includes a search and rescue helicopter valued at about 400 million shillings and 3 new tugboats worth 1.6 billion shillings.
Last week, I think we signed an award for the delivery of 3 new ASD tags. Those tags, the first tag I think should be able to be delivered within the next 2 to 3 months.
The new vessel traffic management and information system integrates real-time vessel tracking, radar surveillance, marine communications, weather monitoring, oil spill detection, and digital port management.
This launch today allows our stakeholders to be able to have full visibility of the vessels that are calling at the port of Mombasa. It also allows us, KPA, also to automate all our processes and to ensure that we remove any manual intervention in this port.
The system gives marine teams enhanced visibility and control over vessel movements, improving traffic management and logistics coordination.
How you can be able to monitor a ship which is even 40 miles or 70 miles away from the port of Mombasa. You can be able to make sure that our port is safe. You are also able to see that now we are able to monitor pollution within the port.
For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troyenjue.
Young innovators in rural Kenya are turning to artificial intelligence, that is AI tools, to help farmers respond to adverse weather patterns and declining crop yields in major maize-growing regions. The push comes obviously after digital entrepreneurs developed AI-powered solutions offering farmers weather updates, cost analysis, and early detection of crop pests.
Parts of the North Rift region has faced depressed rains, raising immediate concerns over the maize harvest this season. The adverse weather patterns are pushing farmers to seek new ways of managing climate-related risks. Young entrepreneurs are developing AI-powered tools to support farmers with weather information, input cost analysis, and early detection of diseases.
It has helped me learn about AI digital tools like AI Fluency and AI SMEs, which helped me create some AI smart shamba chatbot that farmers can interact with.
Speakers at the forum challenged more young people to move beyond content creation and develop practical digital solutions targeting agriculture and entrepreneurship.
The counties are under pressure, a lot of pressure to employ young people. They want to employ young people are knocking their doors every day. They want jobs, they are unemployed. And yet here is an opportunity in which if they invested in resources, it's able to support thousands of young people, create jobs by themselves, and be able to earn and drive the local economy from those earnings.
Manyolo said digital transformation should move beyond urban centers and economically empower rural communities, women, and persons with disabilities.
Kenya's digital transformation must be inclusive, practical, and locally owned. It must create opportunities not only in Nairobi or major cities, but also in rural counties and communities where our young people, women, and persons with disabilities are ready to participate, innovate, and lead.
Ezekiel Owino reporting for Prime Edition.
We switch gears yet again to sports. Bernard Okumu is on set. Bernard?
Thank you so much, Kioria, for that one. Indeed, thank you so much for staying with Channel 1 News. Time for us to get into the details of the day's sports. Let's begin here in Nairobi, where Kenya Police FC celebrated its top performance at the club's end of the season awards gala held here in Nairobi, with defender Bud Omar emerging as the biggest winner of the night. Now, Omar scooped 3 major honors: the most valuable player, MVP, defender of the season, and goal of the season after an outstanding 2025-2026 campaign. New signing Vei Kutiama also impressed, taking home the Golden Boot and signing of the season award. The men's team finished third in the FKF Premier League but fell 2-1 to Tusker in the Mozartbet Cup final. Meanwhile, Kenya Police Bullets FC capped off a successful season by winning a third consecutive FKF Women's Premier League title, securing a place in the Sekafa qualifiers for the CAF Women's Champions League. Ugandan striker Margaret Kunihira was named the women's most valuable player. Speaking during the gala, Kenya Police Deputy Patron Eliud Lagat reaffirmed the club's commitment to investing in facilities and player development as it targets greater successes on the continental stage.
Fielder of the year of Pitcher Council.
The expectations will be high, the competition tougher, and the challenges greater. But with those challenges come even greater opportunities. I want to encourage both teams to remain focused, ambitious, and committed to the values that brought them this far.
My message to you, you can't be committed, that's fine, but do you have the discipline to see it all the way to the end? So you must, and I'm happy that today we're talking to the discipline forces. So it is something that you have, and maybe that's why you are so successful as a club. So keep it up, continue that way.
Ombi langu ni kwamba kama itawezekana, na najua inawezekana, kama itawezekana, najua saa ingine sisi bana tukiwa kule ground tukifanya makosa kumpata Mr. Nyale ama SG ni ngumu sana. But hao wenzetu at least wakiwa promoted, hata nikishikwa naweza mpigia simu.
Good trend by Kenyan football clubs in honouring players who did duty for them during the season. Over to more football news, where football enthusiasts in Rongai, Kajiado County are still reeling with excitement after KBC Channel 1 brought the FIFA World Cup experience closer to their doorsteps with the Bow Fever watch party during the last 16 matches, which concluded last night. Sean Muya reports.
Hundreds of football enthusiasts gathered in Rongai to witness the thrilling FIFA World Cup round of 16 encounter between Spain and Portugal, with an electric atmosphere filling the venue as fans cheered on their favourite teams. Spain edged Portugal 1-0 to book a place in the quarter-finals, sparking celebrations among supporters as the match lived up to its billing. Fans praised the Bow Fever watch party, saying the initiative had brought football lovers together and given them an opportunity to enjoy the World Cup on the big screen.
Nakwambia game imekuwa fiti mbaya. Spain amefanya ile kitu. Portugal wanaenda next time manze. Tunasema tu siku zombo Spain manze.
Supporters also called for more watch parties across the country, saying such initiatives strengthen unity while making the FIFA World Cup more accessible to Kenyan fans.
Africa tumekuwa na letdown mbaya sana ya World Cup. Tulikuwa tuna expect more, lakini so far Morocco imetushikilia. Na pia tuna appreciate sana KBC maze, metuokolea sana, metuleta game zote live maze. Big up man.
Don't miss all the FIFA World Cup action live on KBC Channel 1 as the Bow Fever watch party continues to bring the world's biggest football spectacle closer to Kenyans across the country. Sean Muya for Prime Edition.
And thank you, Sean, for that report. Elsewhere, Murang'a County joined the global celebration of World Aquatics Day 2026 with a vibrant event at Vidu Ramji School aimed at promoting swimming, water safety and drowning prevention. The event, organized by Kenya Aquatics in partnership with Murang'a Aquatics, brought together government officials, aquatics leaders, teachers, parents and community members. Swimmers thrilled the audience with impressive aquatics demonstrations, showcasing the role of swimming in health, recreation and talent development. They also conducted a practical life-saving demonstration teaching essential rescue techniques and encouraging communities to learn swimming as a vital life skill. Leaders at the event called for greater investment in swimming facilities, water safety education and public awareness programs to help reduce drowning incidents. And now to the FIFA World Cup, where the defending champions of the FIFA World Cup, Argentina, booked their ticket into the quarterfinals of the 23rd edition in style after pulling off a late comeback to defeat Egypt 3-2 in the last 16 last night. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium was filled with action and mixed emotions from the fans as Argentina battled a 2-0 deficit to win the duel over the Pharaohs. Egypt started off with an early goal in the 15th minute, and Argentina missed the chance to equalize following a penalty misplaced by Lionel Messi. The Pharaohs added a second goal, which was disallowed following a foul play in the build-up